have questions as to how do you know when to fast and what type of fast. I think it's really common for people to believe that there is just, when you decide to fast, you just fast. It's just, okay, I'm going to give up food now. But it's really not that simple, and there are some really strategic ways you can implement fasting that will yield you an incredible result and will minimize your suffering. So I've come up with 7 different types of fasts that I coach my patients through, and everybody's fast that they love, everybody is going to have a different result from all these different fasts. So know that there is something that I call fasting variation, which is knowing when to apply these different fasts at different times and for different conditions. So let me go through them. The first fast that most of you are used to is intermittent fasting. This fast is where you're going to stay away from food 13 to 15 hours. This fast was made really popular by the Nobel Prize winner back in 2016. Dr. Osumi, he discovered a term called autophagy, that when you stay away from food for 13 to 15 hours, the body will start to go and eat the toxins inside the cell. The other thing we know about intermittent fasting is that it spikes growth hormone. And then Dr. Fung taught us that if you the longer you fast, or if you implement fasting for the first time, it forces your body to go and find stored sugar in fat. So to me, intermittent fasting is an intro fast. If you're new to fasting, this is where you want to start. 13 to 15 hours, no food. There are many people that believe coffee is okay within that window. There are some people who don't. Go and look at my coffee video that I did on how do you tell if coffee is okay during fasting. I did a whole video on that. But when someone's new to fasting, this is where we start. We start with intermittent fasting. Usually in the beginning, it'll be a little difficult, but then as you get more used to it, then it becomes easier and easier. So intermittent fasting is fabulous. It's a great way, and you do it every day. The first time I read intermittent fasting, I was like, every day I'm going to skip breakfast, and I was a 6 meals a day kind of gal. So now I usually don't eat my first meal till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So really, intermittent fasting will change your life. Okay, second fast is what I call a dinner to dinner fast. Now, this is no different than intermittent fasting. You're just extending your fast. So once somebody's become agile at intermittent fasting, once they've kind of used that tool, they understand how to where it fits for them, they're getting good results from it, then usually 1 or 2 days a week, I'll encourage my patients to push their fast back a little bit longer and go from dinner to dinner. So this looks pretty much like you're going to have dinner on Monday night, and like I'm using Monday night as an example. You wake up the next morning, you can have coffee or tea in the morning, and then you're just drinking water all day long until you have dinner on Tuesday night. So you're going somewhere between 20 to 24 hours without food. It's a wonderful way to access more autophagy, get more detoxification. You're also going to get to those stored fat cells more. So the longer, or the sugar that's stored in fat, the longer you do these fasts, the more you reach those stored areas. So if you're an expert at intermittent fasting and you're looking for something to do next, I really encourage you to do dinner to dinner fasting. Those of you who have followed Dr. Fung, he calls this OMAD, 1 meal a day. We call it dinner fasting. Some people ask me, can you do it lunch to lunch? Absolutely. Lunch to lunch is not a problem if you want to do that. So, okay. Once you have been skilled with intermittent fasting, you're maybe trying a few dinner to dinner fasts out, then you're ready for the next type of fasting. I don't have a fancy name for this fast. I call it a 36 to 48 hour fast. And this is really what Dr. Fung wrote about in the obesity code. This is where you're going to go 36 to 48 hours with no food. And again, you're pushing that fasting, your fasting muscle, you're just pushing it a little bit so that you can start to reach more stored sugar. I personally think the 36 to 48 hour fast is fantastic for the weight loss resistant person. you're going to want to implement these quite often. So once a week, once every couple of weeks. If it is tough to do, that's actually a good thing, because you're forcing your body to go find the sugars it's stored in the fat cells. So during this time, you can drink water, you can have your coffee without cream, just plain coffee. But if you're looking to push the envelope in weight loss, if you're looking to unstick yourself, this is the 36 to 48 hour fast is the one that I really use with my patients. Okay, that leads me to the next fast, and I did a video on this that many of you love and became quite popular. It's called dry fasting. Now, here's a couple things on dry fasting. There was a lot of speculation that dry fasting would improve fat metabolism, that you could get the same effect with a dry fast that you could with 3 days of a water fast. Now, I'm really big on research. If you go and look at my other videos I've done, I do a ton of research, and I want to find you good research. So I have scoured PubMed, which is the gold standard for where you find the best studies. I can't find any studies on PubMed to show that dry fasting is going to yield you a better weight loss or a better fat metabolism. But there are a lot of studies that are done on dry fasting improving BDNF, which is brain power, and making your helping. It's like fertilizer for your brain. There are great studies done on dry fasting, lowering inflammation or CRP in your blood. So dry fasting is a tool, and you can use it at different times. It's not for the beginner faster. I do not recommend you go more than 12 to 24 hours without food and water, which is what a dry fast is. A dry fast is no water, no food. I have seen on YouTube here a lot of stories where people are saying that they are going like days dry fasting. I really would not recommend that if you are not under a doctor's supervision. So dry fasting is definitely for the more expert person. Okay. Next fast is fast mimicking, and this is the one that we're doing right now in our Resetter group. So if you're not a member of my Resetter tribe, it's a closed group on Facebook where we do a monthly fast. Right now we're doing something called the Metabolic Reset, and the Metabolic Reset has got all these fasts in it. If you want to come into our Resetter tribe and experience some of these fasts with us, just put Resetters in the comments and we'll send you a link and invite you in. I think the most popular fast in the Resetter tribe is fast mimicking. This was made popular by Walter Longo. He did, and his team of researchers down at the University of Southern California, they did 2 different types of research on fasting. One was done on a 3-day water fast, where they found if all you did is drink water for 3 days, it would reboot your whole immune system, and you would get a tremendous amount of stem cell production. That was his first study, and out of that, he really wanted to see, because he was so excited by the results he was getting, but he really wanted to see if he could get the same result, but not have people not eat. So what he did with fast mimicking, there are a couple key principles. One is he lowered down the calories. So the calories range somewhere between 800 to 1,000 calories a day. He did not let his subjects go over that. He also lowered down his protein with these people. So he had the protein go down under 20 grams. He didn't let them go over 20 grams, and he did no animal protein. He did 13 hours of intermittent fasting. He didn't do more than that. And so it was a plant-based diet, nuts and vegetables, but it's under 1,000 calories. And what his study showed, that he took type 1 and type 2 diabetics, and he showed that if they did this type of fasting 5 days out of a month, and they did that consecutively for 3 months, he started to see that the pancreatic cells started regrowing. Now, you've probably heard me say this on other videos, like, holy cow, that is impressive. So in our Resetter group, we are practicing that 5 days out of every month. we are doing fast mimicking. In the beginning, it's a little awkward because you have to get to know what foods you should be eating. In my Resetter tribe, there's a ton of pictures of people of different meals. So come on in, just put Resetters, we'll invite you in, and you can have access to that. It produced stem cells. Now, we don't have the research to know if it produced more stem cells than the water fast. I don't think he's made that correlation. But he does believe that the regrowth of the pancreatic cells was because this fast mimicking diet produced stem cells, and stem cells are repair cells. They'll go to parts of your body that need to be repaired, and they'll repair them. A lot of stem cells are quite popular right now. People are getting them injected into discs in their low back. They're using it for anti-aging. People are injecting them are doing it in their face. And so stem cells is really a hot topic right now. Well, you can get your own stem cell production by practicing fast mimicking. So, and it's also one of my favorite, if you can't tell. Okay. The sixth fast that I absolutely love is called autophagy fasting. And autophagy is a term that has been used for many years, but Dr. Osumi, the Nobel Prize winner, he's the one that really made it popular. But now a lot of people are catching on to the phrase. Naomi Whittle, in her book Glow 15, she explains autophagy, and there are some good studies. And I took the principles. Autophagy fasting is actually a term that I came up with. I mean, other people can use it, but it's the way my mind can categorize it, I think, is what I like about it. And basically, there are 4 principles with autophagy fasting. One is you're going to go at least 16 to 17, I like 16 to maybe even 18 hours of fasting, because that's the sweet spot of autophagy, right in that area. There's much debate on what the actual sweet spot is, but many people believe that the sweetest spot to get the most autophagy lies within that 16 to 18 hour window. The other thing that Naomi Whittle encouraged us to do that I absolutely love and have included in autophagy fasting is that when you do go to break your fast, you break it with fat. So why you want to break a fast with fat is because it will keep your blood sugar either even, or it may even drop your blood sugar, but it will kill your hunger. So a lot of people can fast longer if they go at that 17, 18 hours, they go at that mark, they have a half an avocado or they have some nut butter. What they notice, they may be able to go another 3 or 4 hours. So with autophagy fasting, what I have people do is do the 16 to 18 hours of fasting, break it with fat, and then wait 2 hours before you eat your next meal. After that, there are 2 other requirements of autophagy fasting. One is that you're going to keep your net carbs under 50 grams, very much like keto. And then the second one is you're going to keep your protein under 20 grams. So, and it can be from animal protein, but what we found in my Resetter group is that it just takes a little bit of chicken or steak and you're at your 20 grams. The other thing about autophagy fasting that I love is that Naomi Whittle encourages you to eat your carbs last. And I do think that the more you practice these techniques, you start to realize that carbs make you sleepy, carbs make you hungry. So putting them towards the end of the day is great. I can tell you, I work 10, 12-hour days pretty back-to-back with patients and all of the education and work that I'm doing online. And I find if I eat anything with a carb, it either will start to make me hungry or it'll take that mental clarity that we also love with fasting and ketosis. It takes it away. So you really want to push that carb towards the end. Okay, autophagy fasting is for people who want to slow the aging process down. I think autophagy fasting is a little bit easier than fast mimicking, although they look very similar. And it's for people who want to detoxify a little more. That's sort of the 3 categories that I would use autophagy fasting with. And the last fast that I will go through with you is water fasting. And water fasting is life-changing, and I think everybody should try a 3 to 5 day water fast at once a year, twice a year. It really is an incredible way for your body to heal. I'm sure you've heard me say this before if you've watched any of my other videos, but your body is a miracle. It is born with this innate healing power that nobody has taught you. It frustrates me so much that we are not teaching people how to properly use the healing power within their body. So I love that so many of you are so excited about fasting, because you're starting to trust your body again. You're starting to see that magic doesn't come from a pill, that you can be your own doctor. These principles are how we are going to change healthcare. So with water fasting, if you make the decision to take food out of the equation for 3 to 5 days, you will see that there is this intelligence inside your body that will figure out what needs to be repaired. So I use water fasting with my patients that are pretty severe. People have really bad digestive problems that they haven't been able to heal with supplements or diet changes. Water fasting is great for any chronic injuries like musculoskeletal injuries. I've used it on chronic leg pain and tendon issues that I've had. I've been able to heal with a water fast. Water fasting is truly miraculous. Some people go 21 days, 30 days, and you hear incredible results. A lot of people use these extended block water fasts, to really start to jumpstart their weight loss. Personally, I think water fasting, you should have a doctor overseeing you. Here's one of the challenges that we have, is that none of our doctors, or very few of our doctors, even know what a water fast is, or even know the power of fasting. It's very scary when you tell them you're gonna fast. So just make sure that you're testing your glucose, you're testing your ketones, make sure your glucose doesn't get super low. To me, anything that's getting under 40 is really scary. Any ketone that's getting above 7 is, you need to stop the fast immediately. If you're getting really lethargic, if you're getting really woozy, those are the times that you really need to be under some kind of supervision from a doctor, so that you know that your body's doing the right thing at the right time. So 7 fasts. That's the way I see it. That's the variation I use with patients. I hope it's helpful. If it's helpful, just put it in the comments, because I love to know what information you guys want to know more of. I love to know what's helping you. If you've had a really positive experience with fasting, put it in the comments. I want to start a revolution of people who are just taking back their health by applying things like these 7 different fasts. Now, I know I'm going to get this question from some of you. If you want my fasting, the different types of fasting sheet that I just read from, this is something I do give my patients. I will open it up to you. If you would like this fasting guide sheet, just put in the comment section, fasting guide sheet, and we will make sure that we get you a copy. So just put that in the comments. And yeah, from the bottom of my heart, I love being on this fasting journey with you. I will be going over in more detail each one of these fasts, how you do them, so stay tuned for that. I really have a vision of doing a whole series on how you apply different fasts for different conditions. Like I had a patient this morning tell me that she started fasting when she started feeling a cold coming on. We're using fasting to help with low back pain in my clinic. Fasting's really great for weight loss. Fasting's, believe it or not, incredible for reversing diabetes. So each one of these conditions, thyroid problems, even adrenal problems. So I'm going to do a whole series for you guys on which fast and how you go about it for what conditions. So stay tuned to that. We'll put it in a playlist. Thanks to those of you that are subscribing. If you love this information, share it out. If you have family members you're trying to convince into fasting, I hope this video gives them a platform for that. And as always, I hope this helps, and I really truly love being on this journey with you. So with that, I'll open it up to questions. I know this is a YouTube live, so if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. I'll have Sequoia let me know right now who's asking what.
So, got a few questions.
Okay.
First off, how do you get minerals into your body that are necessary either to dry or water fast?
Okay, really common when you're fasting for your mineral balance to go off. So the first step that I recommend is you drink salt water. So just some Himalayan salt and some warm water. You can do it as a tea. It's pretty common when you fast to get cold. So just drinking some salt water. If that doesn't seem to be helping, like mineral imbalances when you fast often feel like heart palpitations or they feel like muscle cramping, then you want to actually take a mineral supplement. The one that I absolutely love and recommend for my patients is called Min by Systemic Formulas, MIN. We'll put a link in our notes so you can find it through that, but that's my go-to supplement.
What about medications during a fast?
Right. So medications, this is the dilemma we have. You really need to ask the doctor that put you on the medication. What I tell people is you definitely don't get off of it. You don't get off of it without your doctor's approval. And you can have your medications, you can have your supplements within your fasting window. With my patients, I actually, if they're doing a block fast, like a long water fast, then actually I have them do no supplements at all.
Okay. Let's see. What is the best fast for gaining muscle?
Okay, so muscle. Here's what's really interesting is that for many people, they will feel like they lose muscle when they're on the fast, but then the weeks after the fast, they actually notice they gain more muscle. So remember, you're secreting stem cells, and stem cells they will go to muscle tissue. They will help you build muscle. So what I like to do for myself is go on either a fast mimicking or go on a water fast, and then after I break the fast, I actually will go and start to do more. I like to do TRX. I do a lot of vinyasa flow, very fast-paced yoga, and so I will up anything that's muscle building to try to maximize those stem cells. So if you are weightlifting, the weeks after a fast mimicking experience or after a water fast, you actually have the opportunity to build more muscle. You have a small little window there. So it may appear like it shrinks during the fast, but I promise you after it'll be great. Now, if you're uber thin, like I have a lot of women in my practice that have lost so much weight, they're now like, I don't want to lose anymore. Then you may need to up your carbs a little bit on like the autophagy fasting. We only allow you 50 grams of carbs. You might have to up that a little bit. So you can play with that. Other questions?
No, I think that covered most of the ones. They were coming pretty fast, but a lot of them are people asking to come into resetters. So
awesome. Cool.
Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, go ahead and subscribe, and I'm going to be doing more and more of these YouTube lives. So my history, to give you a little bit of background on me, I've been over in Facebook doing Facebook Lives several times a week for many years, and those are what you're seeing here on my channel. We've had an incredible amount of people interested in the work that we're teaching in our clinic, and so and a lot of you are here on YouTube. We've had a real surge of people subscribing to the channel, which is great. So I wanted to leave some real content that's over here, specifically to those of you who don't do Facebook and you're here on YouTube. And I will be doing YouTube Lives regularly, so stay tuned for those. If there's a topic you want to know more about, then just put it in the comments. I'll make sure that I get it. So, but other than that, as always, I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the Resetter group. So we didn't turn the light on. Could you tell that it was dark?